We have a full body flow today. I have 2 mediums and 1 heavy on, so that's 2 reds and a green for balanced body. And we're gonna start with some footwork and get moving. So honor your body as always, right? Listen to your body. If you need to make adjustments, you make adjustments, all right? So find yourself centered on the carriage. Arms are long and weighted into the mat. All 10 toes are on, heels together, toes apart. Feel your hips lengthen away from your ribs, the crown of the head reach further behind you. On your next exhale, press the carriage out and then drag it in. You press the carriage out, you try to get longer as you bring the carriage in. So work on the hug of the heels and the inner ankle bones together and the broadening of the chest. So I'm thinking of rolling my upper arm bones into the mat. And you're of course keeping that natural neutral of your spine and that pelvis is not shifting. Let's do a couple more here. Come all the way in. Let's come onto the arches, hip socket distance apart. Equally wrap the toes and heels around. Pull the carriage home first. So feel the back of the legs and your butt crease muscles kick on. Now press the carriage all the way out. Find your long line and then pull yourself home. All right, so we're really working every muscle in our legs. And that pull home, think of it as a hamstring curl. Arms are still reaching long, the palms are actively pressing down. And however you're breathing today, just think full breath out and full breath in. We have 2 and 1. Come all the way in. Let's come onto the heels. Hip socket distance apart. So flex those feet, even your pinky toes. Drive the carriage all the way out and then pull yourself home. So for heels on, I want you to imagine that you're on this narrow oval track. So you never really pause on the out or pause on the in. So you're just gliding in and out. And you never lose the tone in your muscles. Both kneecaps are still looking up to the sky. And you're thinking of getting longer with each return home. Let's do 1 more here. Come all the way in. Now I want you to go wide. Like maybe not all the way out to the foot bar wide, but like big shoulder width distance apart. Slight external rotation here. Still on the heels, you press the carriage out and just feel that opening in the front of your hips and then pull yourself all the way home. Again, you press the carriage out and then drag it home. I want you to think of your seat working in both directions. I heard the other day a teacher say, use your seat as brakes to come in. I liked that. And I'm hoping you're feeling a little shin bone, top of the feet action here. 1 more. And come all the way in. Now we internally rotate, right? So as much as you can bring the knees together, right? So my knees are together, my thighs are together. Right? As you press the carriage out, they're gonna separate, of course. And then as you bend the knees, they come back together. So pull the foot bar apart as you press out. And this position, I'm thinking of the front of my hips narrowing and my backside opening up. My arms are still reaching long, my neck is long, and my pinky toes are still pulling back. It's kind of a funky position, but we need this for our hips. We have 3 and 2 and 1. Come all the way in. Let's come back down to that first position. So all 10 toes are on. Even that last little nub of a pinky toe, heels together, toes apart. Press the carriage all the way out. Find your long line. Keep the legs straight as your legs lower down. Push the heels under. Actively flex those feet and then lift the heels up, up, up. Again, you lower the heels down, 2, 3, and then up, 2, 3. We go down, 2, 3, up, 2, 3. So as you're lowering at this tempo, feel this wrap through the back of the legs. your pubic bone point at your toes, right? Because we're still trying to keep that natural arch in the small of your back. A lot of times we want to tuck, like even right now, it's very difficult. Good, last one here. You lower, 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 and then lift, lift, lift. Bend the knees, come all the way home. Let's come back onto the arches. Hip socket distance apart. Finds that energy of pulling the carriage home. Again, palms are pressing down. Take a big breath in here, and then on your exhale, curl the hips under. Roll the hips up. Find your working bridge today and pause here. Think of your big toes reaching up and over the foot bar, like towards the floor. And then keep that pulling home sensation as you lengthen and melt all the way down. Lengthen the tailbone away. Fully release it at the bottom. Roll the hips up. Use the arms. Make sure your chest is soft at the top, right? We're not into this crazy extension, right? It's mainly hip extension. And then lengthen as you come all the way down. Good, one more time here. You roll the pelvis up. Find that true bone by bone. Toes are reaching up and over the foot bar. And then pull yourself home as you lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Let's come back to that wide position, but let's go more to the base of the arches. All right, little external rotation. Go ahead and roll the hips up, up, up. Think pubic bone higher than your navel or your 2 hip points. And now think of pulling in on the foot bar without closing the knees. Press the carriage out, try to keep the lift of the hips up, and then pull yourself all the way home. Remember, the arms are reaching long, the chest is still soft. And the hug in, it just helps get every muscle at the party and gives you more support. Last one here. Come all the way in and then melt, melt, melt. Now let's go back to the heels, or to the heels, hip socket distance apart. So find equal weight into your hips. I want you to just drive the hips up. So think flat back hinge up and then lower the hips down. We drive the hips up one solid piece and then come all the way down. Last one here. You drive the hips up. Bring your left leg up into tabletop. We're going to press the carriage out and then pull the carriage in. So you're trying to keep the hips level, stable as you go out and in. You go out as far as you can and in. Keep working into that inner edge of your heel, right? So we're not rolling out. Last one here. Come all the way in. Keep the hips lifted if you can. Heel comes down. Switch. Level yourself out. Press the carriage out. And then pull yourself home. So it's a heavy supportive spring. So take the time to just find and feel the work. I'm hoping you're feeling things. Use those arms. And just double check those hips. This is my side that wants to fall down. We have 3 and 2. Nice work. Hang in there. Last one here. Come all the way in. Lower that heel down. Find center. And then melt all the way down. Okay. Take your hands onto the pegs or the posts, the shoulder blocks, whatever you have back there. And then bring your legs up into tabletop here. I'm going to pull the pegs apart or the shoulder blocks, whatever you have. So the upper back and the arms are at the party. I'm going to straighten the legs up to the ceiling and then bend the knees. We straighten and bend. And when you straighten, we are keeping a flat, long spine, and there's no shift of the pelvis. Now go ahead and straighten the legs up. They stay super glued together. They go over to the right as the left hip lifts. We pause here. Make sure your left shoulder is still into the mat, and then bring the legs back to center. They go over to the left, and then back to center. You inhale as they go over to the right, and then exhale back to center. Inhale over to the right, and then exhale back to center. And then lower the legs down, 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 down. Take the arms down to the mat. And just inch away from the blocks a little bit, that way you've got some space. So you're gonna keep the legs straight over the foot bar. Let's find heels together, toes apart. Reach the arms up to the sky, take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, you lift the weight of your head up and you're gonna roll all the way up. So find the top of your supported teaser, right? Legs stay down. I'm still kind of leaning back a little bit. And then I'm gonna lengthen as I roll all the way back. Reach the toes away. Go all the way down. Head comes down, arms come up. Use your exhale, you roll yourself up. Grab onto your legs if you need to, right? That's always an option. And then lengthen as you roll all the way down. Last one here. Come all the way up, 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 up. And for my tight people, fight for those super straight legs. Now, if you want to get fancy, right, you keep the teaser legs. They go off to the side. And I'm going to come down to 2 red springs. I'm going to swivel back around, lower the legs down, center yourself. And then I'm going to roll my spine all the way down. I'm going to reach back for my short loops. If you want less tension, you can take your hands into the long loops. I'm going to punch those fists straight up to the ceiling. Wrap the fists around so my pinkies are just as much gripping as my index fingers. I'm going to bring my legs up into that tabletop position, squeeze the legs together. I'm going to lower the arms all the way down and pause. Make the arms so long that you create space between your shoulders and your ears. And now keep the space as you float the arms all the way up. A couple more times here. We're just getting the arms connected to the back. There's no shift in your pelvis. Legs are solid. Now bring the arms all the way down. Find that punch out through the fists. And if you can, you're gonna curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Arms have to get longer. From here, the carriage doesn't move. Bring your knees into your chest. Dig your knuckles into the mat. Straighten your left leg out as your right knee pulls in. And switch. Single leg stretch. And switch. Think of your chest curling up and over your stomach. We have 3 and 2 and 1. Bring both knees into your chest. Squeeze the legs together. Now bend the elbows and straighten the legs out. We hold 2, 3. Bend everything back in. We straighten, hold 2, 3. Bend everything back in. We straighten, hold 2, 3, and bend everything back in. Lower the head down if it was up. Extra challenge getting your feet into straps is not letting the carriage move as I roll my hips up and place my feet into those short loops. Once your feet are there, pull your heels to your seat and come all the way down. Now, if you're like, well, I'm not doing that today, just place your feet into the straps. So feet are evenly placed into the straps, arms are long down by your side, and you're in the bottom of your frog. Heels together, toes apart. Press the legs out to that working angle, pause here. Your ribs are heavy, big toes are reaching across the room, and just bend the knees in. So we're just starting off with a simple frog. Think of this as your prep for your short spine. So we are about to go into an inversion. When you do these, make sure your weight stays in your shoulders and not in your head and neck, okay? You go to your range. Send the legs out and away. Find that wrap through the back of the legs. Arms are heavy. Float the legs up to your 90. From here, you start to roll the spine up, up, up. You're gonna try to close the carriage. Keep looking up at your feet. Keep a little bit of tension into the straps. Bend the knees into the shoulders as the hips lift up. From here, pull your heels to your seat and roll down like a little ball. Roll down, roll down. Once your tailbone is heavy, you press the legs back out. Float the legs up. Roll the pelvis under. Lift the hips. Lift the spine up. Pause. Soften the sternum away from the chin. So you're trying to create as much space in the front of your throat as you can. Bend the knees in, little bit of pressure into the straps, and then pull your heels to your seat as you roll all the way down. Hips are heavy, press the legs back out. Float the legs up. We're gonna change it up this time. Legs come up and over. Weight is in your shoulders. Bend the knees in. Feet are now over your face. They're gonna stay over your face as you roll your spine all the way down. All the way down. As far as you can go. Feel that stretch in the back of the legs. And then pull your heels to your seat. Tailbone is heavy. Press the legs back out. Only one more here. Float the legs up. You go up to go over. Arms get longer. Everything always reaches further away. Bend the knees in. And then roll your tailbone away from your feet. You stretch, stretch, stretch. Pull your heels to your seat. And then just pause here. All right, I'm gonna take my hands, take the straps off and then go ahead and hang them up. From here, straighten the legs out over the foot bar. Legs are super glued together, reach the arms up to the sky, and then roll yourself all the way up. Grab onto something, whether it's your foot bar or your legs, and just pull yourself forward, getting a stretch. I'm gonna now turn around, face the end of my reformer, one medium spring. Let's lower the foot bar down. One medium spring, one red spring. Sorry, that's just one spring. So I'm gonna cross my right leg over my left leg. Make sure there's a palm's distance behind your booty and the edge of the mat. And I'm gonna reach for my long loops. You need more support, you take hands into short loops. So I'm gonna sit up so tall. I'm gonna row my fists into my sternum. So my fists are together, my palms are facing in. My upper back feels a little rounded because I'm pulling my shoulder blades apart. From here, I'm gonna roll myself back, round back, and then just pause. Just feel this length, but also the rounding in my spine. And then just roll yourself all the way up. Hands stay exactly where they're at. Again, roll your spine back, round back, stretch back. And then roll yourself all the way up, up, up. Now we play. We roll yourself back, pull the pelvis away from the thighs, and then pause here on the back. Arms are gonna go out to the side. Palms are facing back behind you. From here, nothing else moves, but that right leg is gonna float up and down. It comes up and down. Really feel the inner thigh work as it lifts up to the ceiling. We have 3 and 2 and 1. It lowers down, fists come back in, and then roll yourself all the way up. Now we uncross, recross. So we have this turnout with our legs, all right? Upper back is engaged, roll the pelvis away from the thighs, round back. Arms go out to the side, palms face back. Keep tension in those springs. Open up your wingspan. Left leg floats up and down. Reach the toes for that wall in front of you. So think of making this leg longer than your other leg. We have 3 and 2 and 1. Lowers down, fists come back in, roll yourself up. Now I'm gonna bend my knees. Legs are zipped up together, feet are pressing down into that headrest. Arms come up to 90. My back is so flat. It may not look like it, but I'm really trying to get it razor flat. Arms stay at 90, legs stay zipped up together. Hinge back, hinge back, hinge back. Find that point where you feel challenged but no pain, and then come all the way up, 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 up. Again, we lean back, stretch back, and then come all the way up. Good. Now, we go back to that challenge point. We straighten the right leg. Thighs are still super glued together. We lift up without lowering that right leg. It might be a couple inches, no worries. And then we lower, lower, lower. Again, we lift, 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 and we lower, lower, lower. Hold here. Place the foot down, straighten the left leg out. It's now parallel. We come up, 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 and then down, down, down. Anybody feeling some shoulders? Maybe a little leg. And down, down, down. We go up, 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 and back down, down, down. Hang in there. This is it. Lower the foot down. Come all the way up. Straighten the legs out. And then just round forward. Hang up the straps. Grab onto something.
pegs, frame, doesn't matter, but just pull yourself forward, getting a stretch somewhere.
Okay, now we turn around, a little front rowing. So my hips are up against the shoulder blocks, not jammed up in them, but I can feel that they're back there. My legs are straight out. I'm gonna hook my thumbs onto the long loops, okay? I'm going to sit up uncomfortably tall, all right? So I'm gonna make fists with my hands, my toes are pointed, and I'm thinking of the back of my legs pressing down into the mat. All right, so when you're here, find a tiny, tiny pitch forward. Now straighten the arms out, pause. Feel that broadness in your upper back, length out through the crown of the head, and then just bend the elbows back in. We press the arms out, big reach out through the fists, and then come back in. So this position, right, not only is it a push-up, but this is your plank, right? So as my fists go forward, my sternum draws back. You bring it out, hold here. You lower the arms down, and then float the arms up, 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 and then back down, down, down. Tap the fist to the mat. You come up, 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 and then down, down, down. Those legs are still super glued together and raise or straight. So as you lower and lift, I want you to think of the base of the ribs just softening into your back. And just feel that the shoulder blades are constantly pulling apart, right? That's your protraction. So this movement, we're gonna do a couple more times in class. So that's why we're just doing it here, just to, I guess, establish it, all right? How the shoulders doing, all right? Last one here, they lift up and then just bend the elbows back in. Go ahead and hang up the straps. And now, let's place the foot bar back up. And let's come to a red and a blue, right? So only a red and a blue. I'm sorry, a medium and a light spring. Medium and a light spring. So if you need a knee pad, grab it, because we're gonna be kneeling for a good portion of class. I apologize for not mentioning that sooner. I'm gonna drive my heels and my feet back into my shoulder blocks, right? Knees are about hip socket distance apart. My hands are on the foot bar, shoulder width distance apart. I'm gonna try to keep the carriage in as I roll my hips forward. So find a flat back. Right now you're kind of in a bent knee plank. Arms stay straight. Drive back through the feet. Press the carriage back. You go back as far as you can and hold. Remember the base of the ribs kind of lifting up into your back, the broadness across your upper back, and then pull yourself all the way in, in, in. Again, you press yourself out. So again, this is what we just did, but just up against different resistance, right? Tailbone stays long. And then come all the way in, in, in. Good, again, you press the carriage out. And then come all the way in. Now from here, as you're taking a moment, I'm gonna take my headrest all the way up. And now hands come back to that same position. We're gonna do just that, but now we're gonna do it with straight legs. So it's a plank, right? It's called our long stretch. I'm gonna come to 2 medium springs. I like the support. You can stay on the 1 medium and 1 light if you like. A lot of people do prefer it. So balls of the feet come in between those shoulder blocks in that headrest crease. Legs are super glued together. Once again, broadness across your upper back. Base of the ribs are pulling in, arms stay straight. Press the carriage out to that working angle. You hold, 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 and then pull yourself in, in, in. Squeeze those legs, give your butt cheeks a little activation, and then come all the way in. You only go out to where you can control things. No pain in your low back, and then come all the way in. Last one here. You press it out, and then come all the way in. Step your feet up onto the carriage. Now, I'm very tight. I cannot bring my feet all the way back into the shoulder blocks. So if you're flexy, you can take your feet back here. But for my tight people, maybe find more of a center position with your feet. You're gonna round your spine, let your head just fall down between your arms, and I'm gonna keep my feet suction cupped into the mat, all right? Think of pulling the belly up into your low back. You're gonna keep this rounded shape. Press the carriage out,
and then pull yourself in. Now pause here for a moment. Arms stay straight, pull the foot bar apart, and feel the length out through the crown of the head. Keep that. Press the carriage out and pull it in. I like an inhale as I go out and exhale as I pull in. Inhale, go out. Exhale, pull in. As you're doing this, I'm hoping you're feeling a stretch down the back of the legs, especially as the carriage comes in, and maybe even in your back. Last one here, and come in, in. Now I want you to take your heels kind of halfway up the shoulder blocks. Halfway, 2/3. Remember, you can stay on the one medium and one light, or you can go up to the two mediums. It does give you more support. I'm gonna go back to that rounded shape. Again, think of lifting the belly up into my back. Drive into those heels, all right? Just feel that that's okay, right? You don't have to keep working the lift of the heels. Now I'm gonna straighten my right leg back behind me and pause. I'm gonna drop the right hip down a little bit because a lot of times we wanna open up. We're gonna try to stay square here. Press the carriage out and then pull it in. Right leg stays still. Or we're trying anyways. You press it out and then pull it in. So we just did this, but now we're doing it with a split. Pull the carriage in, pause here. Leg goes out to the side. Equal weight into your hands if you can. You press the carriage out and pull it in. Press it out and pull it in. Press it out and pull it in. Woo! Right leg comes forward. Press the carriage out and pull it in. Can you get that right leg straighter? For 2 and 1, step the foot back. Take a moment. I know we've been on the wrist a lot. Shake it out. Maybe you stand up, but we have another side, so let's get it done. Hands come back on. Wipe that sweat off if you have it there. Heels come back on. Rounded shape through the ribs and the spine. Left leg comes out. Square yourself off as best you can. I know it's tough when you're upside down. You press the carriage out and then pull it in. Press it out and pull it in. You're still thinking of pulling the foot bar apart. Length out through the crown of the head. Last one here. And in, hold. Leg sweeps out to the side. Make that left leg longer. You press it out and pull it in. Try to round through that spine as best you can. Last one. And in, left leg comes forward. Press it out and pull it in. So this is your teaser for 2 and 1. Step the foot back. Just come down to a kneeling position. Maybe you sit the hips back. Shake out those hands. And while you're here, everybody come down to one medium spring. But once again, right, you do what works best for you. If you know this is too much, or if we get in it and it's too much, you adjust your springs accordingly. So I'm gonna walk my feet back up against those shoulder blocks again to where I can connect as much of the bottom of my foot to the shoulder block as I can. So long loops in your hands, all right? My knees are not too much a fan of this position, so I'm gonna have a hover to my booty. It's actually kind of harder, all right? So palms are facing up. I'm gonna grab a firm grip around with the straps. From here, I just straighten the arms out and then pull them in, right? So this is actually easier, but my knees are just not happy with this today, right? So it's your serve a tray, all right? And now we can add on. So if you're happy here, you stay here. Otherwise, as your arms go straight, you drive the hips up. Just get a feel for this. And as you bend your elbows, you kind of sit the hips back and then drive the hips forward. Arms come up and then you lower back down. Think of those pinkies coming up just as high as your thumbs, and then bend everything back in. Good, again. And then back in. Last one here, we come out, hold. Maybe a soft bend to the elbows, that's okay. Keep driving back through the feet. Lower the arms down, and then raise the arms back up. We lower. We have 2 more here. Keep working that pull or push of the palms into the straps. And I guess it was like 2.5. So the next time you raise your arms up, find that space in your upper back. Find that your pubic bone is forward. Open the arms out only to where you're comfortable. You lower them down and then circle them around
and up again, or up and out. All right, so just drawing circles, only what you're comfortable with. Last one here. The next time your arms are down by your side, we reverse. Use your exhale in the toughest spots. Keep driving back through the inner edges of your heels. Last one. Lower the arms down, sit the hips back. What about you? But I'm feeling those shoulders. So come back up to that kneeling position. Interlace the webbing of your fingers. Hands go behind the base of your skull. So feel that your head is tractioning up and into your hands. Once again, I keep reminding myself to drive the heels back because my right heel just keeps lifting up. So this activation helps engage your seat, right? So why not, right? Elbows push wide. You are kneeling or standing tall here. I'm just going to side bend to the right, lift that left elbow up, and then come back through center. Head stays pushing back into your hands, over to the left, and then stack your spine up tall. Over to the right, think of bending at your bra line, if you're wearing one, and then come all the way up. Up and over to the left, and then back up. One more time each side. Really open those elbows up to stretch out that left armpit, and then come back up. You go up and over to the left, and then back up. So let's do a little extension because we haven't done any yet. So reach the arms out in front of you. Reach the arms up to the sky. Once again, drive back through your feet, but feel like you're driving your pelvis forward. I'm going to lift my heart up, take the gaze up to the ceiling. Maybe I lean back a little bit. All right, lean back, just find a little baby back bend, and then stack your spine all the way up tall, and just lower the arms back down. I raise the arms up, and feel the broadness across your collarbone. Drive the pubic bone forward as I lift my heart up, 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 and then back out to that long line. Just lower the arms back down. Again, arms come up. Feel that your chest is lifting up, right? So we're not sinking into the low back. Chest lifts up. Upper back pushes the chest up. And then back out. Good. Lower the arms down. Now everybody's going to come to one medium and one light. It is heavy for a reason, right? Typically when we do scooters, right, or some press backs with the reformer, it's a light spring and we can move the carriage a lot. Today we're not doing that, all right? So left foot up against the shoulder block. I'm going to straighten my standing leg. So I'm going to bring the inside of my right leg up against the reformer, and my thighs are in line with one another. So just adjust accordingly. I got to keep adjusting here, right? So feel that press back already through the back of the foot or the bottom of the foot. Whatever you feel like doing with your arms, you do it, okay? From here, you keep this tall posture. Give that carriage a little press back and then in. Now, as you're doing this, what's going to want to happen is this leg, you're going to want to lean back. You're going to want to bend into the knee. It's okay if you have a soft bend, all right? But you're trying to stay upright. So it's just the back of the leg, just your butt crease muscle, working to press the carriage back. And if you're tight here, you might be getting a nice stretch. You've got 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the carriage in. Now I'm going to do a little lean forward, a little hinge. I like to place my hands on my hips here just to feel that they're somewhat square. Keep that soft bend in your knee if you like that. Press the carriage back and then pull it in. Remember, it's not a big movement. And I'm hoping that you're feeling something going on right in this area. And you're always working length out through the crown of the head. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. Now I'm going to come all the way up to standing, but now I'm going to lean back a little bit. So again, keeping my long line, keeping the tailbone heavy. I'm going to press back again and then in. And here, for most of us, we should be getting a deeper stretch on the top of that left thigh. And maybe a little bit of a burn, right? So drive back through that inner edge of this heel. We have 3. Ooh, I'm leaning forward. And 2 and 1. Bring it all the way in. Hello, hello. Okay, let's do the other side. I was gonna do something in the middle, but not today, all right? So get yourself set up, right? So thighs are in line with one another. Okay, inside of the left leg up against the reformer, so that way it just keeps us more neutral, I guess, with the knees. You find that tall lifted spine, right? Do whatever feels best for your hands. You press back and then pull in. And a little something extra on this side is feel like you're trying to pick the shoulder block up, as if I was like kicking something back and up. So those of you who run, or right, just walk, right, whatever it is, that's your gait. And that's why I'm cueing this inner edge of the heel. That's really your big toe that's kind of propelling you. It's that hamstring connection. And this side is gonna feel way worse because we've already worked this leg. We have 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the carriage in, hands on the hips if that's your thing. I'm gonna hinge forward, so my back is flat. Press the carriage back and pull it in. Fight that urge to lean back with the carriage, all right? I know typically with these, again, it's a light spring, so there's much more movement, but tiny and mighty. You can even take the arms back behind you, find like an active chest expansion. Woo. And if the inner edge of the heel cue doesn't work, press back through the big ball of your foot, right? I am feeling major work going on into that kind of inside of my thigh. We have 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the carriage in. We stand up tall. Now we find that little lean back. Aha. Oh, that right thigh. Oh my goodness. I'm just not going to talk, right? We're just working together, right? Keep driving that right hip forward. Don't let it sink back. Woo! We have 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Oh, bring it in right there. That was what I was feeling. Okay, we're gonna leave the foot bar up or put it up, right, if you had it down. And I'm gonna come to 1 medium spring. 1 medium spring for planking, okay? So no box, just you and your beautiful self and the reformer. So I'm gonna place my toes on that platform or that end piece there. I like to wrap my hands around the shoulder blocks. My elbows look kind of like a number 11. And my legs are zipped up together. A little bit easier position is like slightly apart. So do what works best for you, all right? Feel that broadness once again across your upper back. The entire forearm, press into the mat. I'm gonna float my knees up, press the carriage out, pause here. So resituate your feet if you need. Do what you gotta do to get into that position, but just hold. Legs are strong. Tailbone is long. We have 2 and 1. Bends the knees, come all the way in. Take a quick moment, reset if you need. That was your reset. Go ahead and float the knees up, press the carriage out. Feel that lift of the sternum up away from the floor. You're gonna glide the carriage out and then pull the carriage in. So keep the shape of your spine as the arms go out and in. We've done this several times today, just with straight arms. Now we're doing it with bent elbows. You have 2 and 1, bring it in, bends the knees, come all the way home. How are those thighs feeling? Oh my. For the next one, we're gonna do a pike, or I'm gonna cue a pike. If piking is not for you, you can do bent knee scooters in and out. You can hold your plank, or you can take the option that we just did, all right? So please honor your body. Forearms back onto the mat. Hug those legs together. Lift the knees up, press the carriage out. Legs are gonna stay straight. Take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, lift the hips up. Try to close the carriage. The foot bar is up for a reason, and then glide yourself all the way out. All right, so we're trying to get to that stacked hips over ribs position, and then back out. Keep working.
Allow your head to drop so you can look at your legs, look at your feet, and back out. My tight people, this one's for you. Get that stretched on the whole back body. No collapsing in those shoulders. We have 3, hang in there. And 2. And 1, awesome, press it out. Bend the knees, come all the way home. Take a moment here. Just find maybe a little cat-cow. Just a little release. You can sit the hips back, let the head fall down. All righty. Excuse me. Let's come to 2 mediums now, right? So 2 medium springs are on. I'm gonna drop the foot bar all the way down. And let's get set up for some semicircle. So I'm gonna sit my hips pretty close to this edge first, because at this point, we're probably all a little sweaty. Hands come onto the shoulder blocks. All 10 toes, heels together, toes apart on your foot bar. I'm gonna press the carriage out, or press myself out, sorry. Come all the way out to where my arms are straight. All right, I'm gonna bring the carriage in. I'm gonna lift the heels up high. Right, I'm gonna work to feel this stretch across the top of my thighs. My chest is soft. And just feel that lovely stretch, right? Knees are not super wide. They're only to the width of maybe your shoulders, right? I'm gonna press the carriage out just an inch or 2 because I need to clear all the equipment down there. So you're gonna keep the carriage quiet, and I'm gonna melt all the way down, down, down. Hold here. If your hips can't touch the springs, it's okay. You're just letting your hips fall into the well. Now from here, you press the carriage out, staying in this big extension. And then from here, carriage stays quiet. You roll your hips up, curl the hips under. Hold here. Find this beautiful long line, and then pull yourself all the way home, home, home. All right? Lengthen down. Lots of space in the front. Press the carriage out only like 2/3 of the way. So don't completely lock out there at the bottom, because then you don't get the control. So carriage stays quiet, roll the hips up. And then pull the carriage home. Now we reverse. You press the carriage out. Try to keep those heels high. Carriage stays quiet. Melt, melt, melt. Tailbone is the last thing to hit. Drag your bottom across the springs and then roll the hips up, up, up. So your body's like this big, beautiful wave right now. Press it out. Broad collarbone. Soften the chest, the ribs, the belly, the back, the booty. And then pull yourself all the way in. Roll the hips up. Now you can stay here, right? If you're good, you can get out of it. Or you want a little extra stretch, I'm gonna take my hands and grab onto my ankles wherever you can, right? And then I'm gonna pull as I drive my heels down. Keep driving the pubic bone up, broaden your chest. And then take the hands back around, up onto the blocks, and then pull yourself up. Come all the way up, up, up. Oh, that was magical. Go ahead and take the headrest all the way down. And then let's do a little inversion, right? I feel like we need a twist here. So hands come up onto the shoulder blocks, right? So my palms are kind of hugging in onto the blocks. My elbows are pointing up to the ceiling. My legs are gonna stretch out long and they're hugging together. Remember, with inversions, the weight's gonna stay in your shoulders and not in your neck. I'm gonna float the legs up to 90. Roll the legs up and over and pause here. Once again, feel that your chest is pulling away from your chin as best you can, right? From here, legs stay glued together. Legs go over to the right. I'm gonna roll down my right side. It's your corkscrew. Legs are gonna lower down to that working angle. They're gonna circle over to the left. Roll up the left side. Square yourself off. Keep working the lift of the hips off the ribs, right? So we're not sinking down. Legs go over to the left. We roll down the left side. Lovely massage down that side. Legs circle around. Over to the right, we roll up the right side. Gaze stays on the ceiling. I know you're watching me. Do your best. Legs go over to the right. We roll down. roll down, melt down. Reach the legs across the room. They roll up the left side. Square yourself off. This is your last one here. Over to the left. Lengthen as you come all the way down. Circle the legs around across the room. Up the right side. Square yourself off. All right. We have options. You can roll down like this, or we can reach the legs up to the sky. Think jackknife. That's what this is, right? Just be careful that you're not going onto your neck. All right. Find that high position with your legs and then roll all the way down, down, down. Once the hips hit, you lower the legs all the way down. Once the legs are down, reach the arms up to the sky. Find your long line, take a big breath in, and then on your exhale, you're gonna roll yourself all the way up and then just round forward. And then legs come off to the side. And I think let's do some splits. All right. So I am going to come down to one medium spring, right? One medium spring. I'm going to place that headrest up. Okay. I'm going to step up onto my non-moving part first. Then I'm going to step up onto the moving carriage. So I'm going to heel toe walk that foot out. Right, if you're super flexible, you go all the way to the headrest. Otherwise, right, find somewhere in kind of the middle. And let's go parallel today, right? Maybe even slightly turned in. It might feel like you're going turned in. All right, so again, tailbone is lengthening down. You're stacking your ribs over your hips. Arms go out to the side like a letter T. So strong reach with the arms. Think of pressing them back behind you. From here, you press the carriage out. 2, 3, you hold and just pause. Once again, think pubic bone forward. It wants to stick out so bad, or your booty wants to stick out. And then pull yourself in, in. Again, you press the carriage out. You get longer as you go out. You hold 2, 3, and then pull yourself all the way in. Again, you press the carriage out. You get longer, longer, longer. I'm blessed to have this mirror beside me, so I'm checking. And then pull yourself in. One more here. You glide the carriage out. So feel the outside of your hips working and fighting to keep yourself out there. And then feel the inner thighs work to pull yourself in. And now hold on the end. Close the springs. Close the carriage. How about you? My inner thighs are kind of shaking right now. We have 3, 2, and 1. Whew. However you wish to get off, however you wish to switch sides, I'll meet you on the other side. So make sure those heels are in line with one another. Right? Arms go out to the side. Suction cup those feet to the reformer. Press the carriage out, pause. Find that working angle. Feel that the arms are pressing back, the upper back is engaged, and then pull the carriage in. Base of the ribs are pulling in, right? So we're not here, right? I know it looks cute and all. You go out, you hold 2, 3, and then pull it in. Ooh, that foot was slipping. I'm sweaty. 2 more here. You press the carriage out. Find that challenging point, right? And then pull it in. Last one here. Arms are strong. Reaching across the room. You hold 2, 3. Oh, I'm shaking. Come all the way in. And now hold here. Just hold. Keep pulling the carriage in. Can you lift the arms up maybe a hair higher? You've got 3 and 2 and 1. Whew. Lower the arms down. Shake it out. So we're going to finish with back splits today. I love all the splits. So back splits today. Headrest is going to stay up. I'm going to go into 2 medium springs, right? It does feel heavy, but it gives me a lot of support, all right? So if the 2 reds doesn't work for you, go down to, or the 2 medium springs, go down to a medium and a light, okie dokie? So I'm gonna step up onto the carriage, hands come to the shoulder blocks. Now I see a lot of people do this different ways, but I'm gonna step my left foot forward so it's right in the center line of my carriage. My right foot is gonna step back to the corner of the foot bar. So it is turned out. Hands are on the foot bar, on the shoulder blocks. And now just bend into that front knee, hold here. So my left foot is under my left knee. My back leg is trying to stay so straight. Now you're probably gonna look at this and go, her leg isn't straight. I'm trying so hard, right? So do as I say, not as I do on this one. From here, keep the hands on the shoulder blocks, press the carriage out or straighten the left leg and then pull the carriage in. You press the leg out and pull it in. Now while you're doing this, I want you to feel that your ribs are lifting up off the thigh so you're not sinking down, right? Upper body is very active. You have 2 and 1. Hold here. If you can, you're gonna rise up, come up to this lunge position. Hands can be anywhere for today, all right? And if you're like, I'm not feeling this, keep your hands on the shoulder blocks, but keep them light, all right? I'm gonna glide the carriage out and then pull it in. Now I'm very tight, so it's hard for me to get into a low lunge, but that's the idea here, is to bring the hips lower for 2. And 1, carriage comes in, hands come down. From here, I'm gonna straighten both legs, bring the carriage in. Feel this amazing stretch, equal weight into that left foot. Glide the carriage out with straight legs. And then pull the carriage in. Big opposition through both legs. And then pull it in. Again, press the carriage out. And then pull it in. And last one here, you press it out, hold here. Look over that right shoulder. It's a tiny look, but maybe feel a better or deeper stretch down that left leg. Turn your head back to center, pull the carriage all the way in, carefully come out of it, switch sides. Right foot steps forward, left foot steps back. Glide the carriage out, find the lift of the ribs off of that right thigh. You press it out and in. Anybody else have a creaky knee? Now, if you know you're not taking your hands off the shoulder blocks, already start to get light in those hands. Lots of work in the leg, both legs. And then when you're ready, hands come off, right? I feel like the harder position is hands behind the head. Head pushes back into the hands. Our carriage goes out and in. So right now we're in an extended spine. Tailbone is still reaching long, so there's no tension in that low back. For 2 and 1, bring it in, hands come down, straighten both legs. And all that work, oh, this is such a nice stretch, right? Glide the carriage out, keep pulling that belly off the thigh, off the thigh, off the thigh, and come all the way in. It's very easy to let the shoulders shrug into the ears here. So just work the length out through the crown of the head. Let's do 2 more. Go out to that working angle, keep the toes down, and then come all the way in. Last one here, you press the carriage out. Now you're gonna look over the left shoulder. And then turn your head back to center. Bring the carriage all the way in. You're gonna carefully step off. You are done. Nice work today, y'all.